Hey guys, McJeffries here, and welcome to episode 100 of the McJeffries Network on OpenTTD. Now, before we get into the full nitty and gritty of what's going on today, I would just like to say that if anyone has noticed my voice sounds a little bit different to usual, that is because I have picked up the world's heaviest cold, which I'm not too pleased about. Excuse me. So I'll be clearing my throat a little bit. I'll be trying my hardest not to cough. But there might be a bit of sniffling going on as well, and of course my voice sounds like rubbish. So, putting all that aside, welcome to episode 100, guys. We've reached the big ton. I'm not really sure why it's called a ton, considering a metric ton is 1,000 kilograms. Maybe an imperial ton was 100 something. 100 stone springs to mind, actually. But I don't know that because I was brought up in metric times, so I'm not 100% sure on that. We are currently looking at the shortest train to ever grace our network. Excuse me, there's that throat clearing I was telling you about. So yeah, we are looking at the shortest train on the network. It is simply 2 diesel locomotives. They will be making a reappearance later on in the series. For now though, they are going to take you on a journey. And a long journey. You'll notice this video is about 2 hours long. I might try and shorten it a little bit more. 2 hours wasn't an incredibly bad length for me, considering normal episodes can be anywhere up to an hour and a half. Something special for episode 100. 2 hours didn't seem that unrealistic. But, and this is a big but, this raw footage, for those of you who are wondering why this video has been delayed by 24 hours, this raw footage took over 9 hours to record. And you'll see why as the video progresses. So, yesterday it was about... In fact, when was it? Let me look at the time that I sent out the tweet. Because it got to the stage where I just knew that we weren't going to get the... Let's see, 1:05 PM it was. Because I just knew I wasn't going to be able to get it recorded, edited, and rendered in time for 8 PM. And that was with 7 hours to go. Just so you guys know, last night in England was Friday Night Football. Kickoff was at 7:45, I think. Might have been at 8. But I was still recording. In fact, the match had finished before this video was finished recording. I think it was about 11 PM by the time this was finished. 9 hours, guys. Long time. 9 hours of footage, which I've managed to whittle down to 2 just by actually putting the time lapse in, speeding up the footage. I was very tempted to render this file and then put it back into Sony Studio and time lapse it again or speed it up again. But I think that would actually make the footage a little too fast. This is quite a good length. Quite a good length. There's the throat clearing again. So this little train, we'll call it a route learning exercise because I plan on bringing freight services in over the next couple of weeks. Although saying that, because I'm back at uni, I think we're coming up to the 5-week window anyway. There'll be a week break coming up soon, which everybody knows about. So, as I'm trying to say, this is a route learning exercise for freight. And basically, it covers, apart from the metro and apart from the regional rail and the river line, it covers every single route on the map. All of the main lines this little train covers. And that's why this footage is 9 hours long, because I did not realise just how long these routes were until I came back after 2 hours expecting to just switch off the recording and start editing, and found that we weren't even, as it turns out, a quarter of the way through. So I'm going to try and do a little bit of commentary over the top of this, and then I'll end it with some music, because I do want to I don't want to end my voice, I want to rest my voice, so that next week's videos I can actually sit down, record, and be able to talk to you. Because that would be nice, wouldn't it? I might just cover the microphone when I'm clearing my throat, because I don't think you guys particularly want to hear that. Again, I do apologise. There's a bug that's been going around. My dad and my brother have it as well. So my mum seems to be okay though, which is a bit weird. I think she's the carrier. She's the one who infects the rest of us. Anyway, currently we are on the high speed, not the high speed, but the higher speed main line between Playthingfield and Guard City St Michael. There are a few trains passing us. I was very tempted to send all trains to depot before I did this, just so we get to see the route. But I thought it'd be more cool if we could actually see the trains going on about their duties whilst this one sort of threaded its way through. So all the other trains are out on the network. One set of trains was put in the depot because it was causing a huge pile up at Rindingstone, and I didn't want this train to be sat there waiting once we got there, so I did send one. It was the train that runs the semi-fast service between Guard City St George and, is it Benway South? I think it is. It's BS on the system anyway. Not in the rude sense, just something south, but I think it is Benway. So, a quick synopsis, overview of the route this train takes. So as you can see, we're currently heading towards St Michael. We don't actually go into St Michael itself, we go into the goods platforms. And then from the goods platforms we reverse into the mail storage sidings. And then we head through the new connection through Guard City via GSJ, out through Dartbourne, and all the way down to Slayborough, I think it is, at the end of that little 2-track main line we built last week. From there, we then head back. Oh, sorry, we head to Pronworth first, and then we head south to Slayborough. See, I'm forgetting the route already. I'm really struggling to remember it in my head because there's so many routes. From Slayborough, we then head back up to GSJ main station via Dartbourne, before reversing back to Dartbourne, and then continuing back through the Guard City link, out through GSP, and down to, I can't remember the name of the station, but it is on the franchise that is now owned by George De Silva. Something which I forgot to change before making this video, but has now occurred. The line between GSJ and Pronworth has now been claimed. The franchise holder is Reedy Reed, and it is called the Reedy Corp Eastern Main Line. Although, for the benefit of sort of branding, I hope Reedy doesn't mind me doing this, I'm going to call it the Reedy Corp Eastern. That's it. That's the name of the company. He wants it to be coloured green. I will look into that. I believe there is a Midland Mainline green for the HSTs, so I'll look at implementing that definitely. So both main diesel routes are currently taken, although I should stress the line out of GSJ only covers as far as Pronworth. From Hadborough Bay south, it will be a different franchise, because I think it's a very long route all the way out to Pronworth. That is about the length of a usual main line, so definitely there will be a second franchise on that line. Might end up being the same with the Great Western line as well. We'll see how far that extends. But all the electric lines are still available, guys, so if you are a loyal viewer, a loyal commenter, or a regular commenter, or someone who has contributed to the channel over the last 3 years, and you would like to claim a line as yours, drop me a comment. Remember the three things. Tell me what you want the franchise to be called, what colour you want it to be, and what type of train you would like, if that's possible. And also which line you want, so I suppose it's 4 things. Don't just say, can you do this one and call it this, because that doesn't really help. I would like the starting station and the end station. So example, here, this line runs from GSMI to Playthingfield. So say I would like the main line from Guard City St Michael to Playthingfield, and straight away I know which one you're talking about. Even, I mean, me and Reedy had a conversation through Twitter, which is why you guys didn't see what was going on, because the thumbnail for this video will be different to what you have been seeing for the last 47 episodes, I think it is. we have the Guard City map created for us by Reedy Reed, which is why I decided that he should have a route, because he's been working very, very hard on that map, basically since the start of this this reboot of the series. So a lot of hard work has gone into it. You can tell that a lot of hard work has gone into it. It very, 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 very much emulates the London Tube map, and I'm very pleased with it. So big thank you to Reedy for doing that. That's why he has a main line. He has chosen his main line. He has also been a regular commenter and a loyal viewer, so he fits all the criteria. But that is the thumbnail for the video now, from now on. Probably for the next 50 episodes or so, until I decide to shake things up a little bit again. By then, of course, it could just be an updated map. Who knows? I haven't decided yet. It's 50 episodes away, for Christ's sake. But I was saying something that was related to that. What was it? I can't remember now. Oh dear, that's not good. So yeah, I'll stress this again, because I've had people who aren't even subscribed to me who have asked me to name routes in their honour. No, 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 no. That's not how this works. I've been doing this for 3 years now, and one of the lessons that I've learned from this, it's not really something I've fallen foul of, but it's still something that I've learned, is don't give anybody anything for nothing. So, if someone is watching my videos and is new to the channel, then you can still leave suggestions and you can still leave ideas, and just by leaving one comment you could leapfrog 90% of my subscribers. You know, a lot of people, I have close to 700 subscribers, and I wouldn't say that all 700 have commented on my videos, which is fine. That's entirely up to them. But if they then want me to name something after them, and I don't really know who they are, it doesn't really work. So if you want a franchise named after you in the next couple of weeks, the best thing to do now is to be active in the comments section, because you will draw attention to yourself, which is a good thing in this case, because I will then know who you are. So when you do ask for a line, I'll straight away go, I remember them, they've been commenting for the last few weeks. Whether you're a new subscriber at that point or not is irrelevant, because you are a regular contributor to the videos, which is all you really need to qualify. You know, someone who's been around for 5 minutes who just thinks they can ask for a line named after them, as I say, it doesn't work like that. I'm not interested in that. Also, people who do sub for sub, not interested in that either. I want genuine viewers and genuine subscribers. If anyone has set up a fake account just to get my subscriber count up, I would ask you now that you remove it. I don't think anyone has, but I just want that out there now, because I'm very close to 700 subscribers, and that's a big deal for me, and I don't want to lose that because fake accounts have been taken off by YouTube. So that's sort of a little bit of housekeeping, really. But as I say, if you want a franchise and you're a loyal viewer and a regular commenter, all you have to do is ask. The 3 things again: which line you want, the name of it, and the colour if I can change it. And by the next episode, unless I've already recorded it, it should already be changed for you. Right, so you can already see we are nearly 15 minutes into this video. We're just going up to 14 minutes now, be more precise, and we've only just left Guard City. This is a long video. You know, people wanted me to do sort of network overviews. I wasn't going to do an entire network overview as such, because I did one not long ago, but I liked the idea of showing off the network again, because it has changed a lot since that particular episode. And when the idea came through from, who was it? I think it was Ben DeRoche, but I want to check this just to be precise. Bear with me 1 second whilst I check this. Where is it? 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 I can't find it. Someone suggested that for episode 100, here we go. Peter Evans. Pick a random station and look for a passenger who wants to go somewhere far away but not a direct connection. Follow their journey through various cities to their destination. And he does say, I know you can't follow an individual passenger, but just a fun way to highlight the cargo dist interaction with a complex network. I did try and plan that out. What happened was I looked at all the different destinations that people wanted to go to from Plaything Field, and I mean, I could just say they would take this route, but it's difficult really to accurately predict where passengers would go. And I know that's not exactly the case. You know, no one really minds if I choose a different route or if I choose a scenic route or whatever. But I would definitely be on board with that idea if you could follow a specific passenger. I think that would be really cool. If there's a way to make a patch out there for that, then I would be fully behind that. And I'm not saying it was a bad idea at all. It was a great idea. It's what inspired what you're seeing now. But the idea of following an individual passenger, I think, is a little bit too sort of abstract for this game. But that's not to say I won't come back to it in the future. I might still do that. I might sort of pick up a passenger on a branch line maybe and follow them on a slightly quieter journey. So follow them down a branch line and maybe 1 or 2 connections. So I did suggest in the past about doing a train idea, following trains around, and Michael Taylor replied saying, I wouldn't mind the train ride idea, but while you are doing it, why don't you talk about some future plans? Here you go. This is what I'm going to be doing today. So future plans. A lot of people have asked for more branch lines. And that is one of the things that I really wanted to talk about today, because we've done a couple of branch lines. We've done one north out of Plaything Field. We've done one out of Rindington Junction. We've done 2 out of Rindington Junction, actually. And we've done one from Pronworth to Great Bronfingberg. There will be more. I'm very pleased to announce there will be more. All of the main stations, every single one of them, will have branch lines coming out of them. That's why they've been built so big. So Dartbourne, I'm actually tempted to build a new main line out of Dartbourne that will start curving, maybe even 2. One that curves to the north and one that curves to the south. Because Dartbourne is a big station. And I think only having 1 line in on the east and 2 in the west, I don't think that justifies it enough. I think it needs to have more main lines. But stations like Fenninghead Cross, which we are fast approaching. I don't think we've gone past Fenninghead yet. No, we haven't gone past Fenninghead yet. Fenninghead will have a branch line spanning off of it. Laughing Way will have one. Hadborough Bay will have either 2 branch lines or a branch line and a main line. I haven't fully decided yet. Denwell Valley will have a branch line. All these big stations across the route will have branch lines added to them. And again, that's why they were built so big. Fort Hampton was a great example of that. Originally it was just an interchange station. Now it's an interchange station for both electrified lines heading north towards Plaything Field. It's also the northern terminus of the regional line towards Guard City, and it's also the southern terminus of the commuter line into Plaything Field. So that was a very good example of how I turned a station into a massive interchange for lots of different lines. And Fort Hampton is pretty much finished. I might make a few small tweaks in the future, but I think that one is pretty much done. But it's a very good benchmark for what the other ones should be. I'm also going to be just going through comments, really, in today's episode. Talking about future plans and going through comments. So let's go back to future plans for a second. As you know, as I've already said it in this episode, freight will be coming in very soon. And this consist you see here of the 2 diesel locomotives will make up the first freight train on the network. Technically we already have freight trains on the network as we have the mail trains, but I'm talking about proper freight. So scrap metal is a good one we could do. Recyclables is a good one. Coal maybe is a good one. Things like clay and sand as well. I'm kind of, for the first sort of part of the network, I'm looking for sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Commodities I'm looking for commodities where you can just take them from A to B and get a profit. So ones where you take wood to a sawmill and then you take the lumber to a furniture factory, things like that. The massive chains. I'm not really looking at that right now, but I'm looking at maybe step 1 or step 2 of, well, actually no, step 1. Getting the raw resource from its origin to its destination. That's what I'm looking at now. And then once we have a suitable chain of those, step 2 will then be the processed materials from the factories to their next destination, whether it's goods to a town or whether it's processed materials to be processed again. So, as I say, lumber to a furniture factory. In the past, in the previous map, I tried to do it all in one go. So I did like a coal train to a steel mill, then I did a steel train to where did that go? Was it a factory? And then goods to the town. And I think that sort of clogged up the network a little too much. I kind of want to introduce it a little bit more slowly this time, just so the network can actually cope with the sudden increase in trains. Station names as well. I asked people for station name ideas, and I got a ton of ideas. So to go through the comments section first. Where is it? Games 202. Station names: Promington, Wackwood, Pennerton. I don't know what Pennerton is. Is that a local area? Is that where you're from? I'm not 100% sure. Berryfield, Shepherd's End, Walker's Way, Penwade, Wastonford, St. RYI, is that how you say it? And Arch Bridge. What I might do, because I like some of those suggestions, not all of them, but I like some of them. The ones I don't like, I think if I change a couple of letters, like Wackwood, if I change that to something like Walkwood, so WALKWOOD, I like that name. So that might be what you meant. I don't know, it might be a typo. But I might also combine some names together. So Promington and Wackwood, I might change to Promington Walkwood. Who knows? But those suggestions are very good. I like people suggesting name ideas because it doesn't just give me ideas for names, it also gives me ideas in general. So Ben DeRoche wanted me to name one of the tram stations next to GSJ, sort of on that main road, Great Meridian Avenue, as it was the starting point for everything in he says this video, but it's also the starting point for everything in this map. GSJ was the first station that I built. So I'm planning on adding a new stop south of GSJ on that tram line, because the town has now expanded enough that there are buildings along that road. So I think that will be Great Meridian Avenue. Some stops will be renamed now, but I think most of the name suggestions will be used for new towns. Sorry, not new towns, new stops, rather than existing ones being renamed. I think that would be better off. Or I could just go full DLR mode and pop brand new stops in pretty much everywhere and give them these the slightly more unique suggested names. What else have we got? Wayne Herbie, I like your comments. You make me laugh. The one that really made me laugh was because of the timing in these videos. Where is it? Here it is. Because of the timing in these videos, the way it works on days instead of like seconds, minutes, hours, whatever it is. This was on episode 18 he made this comment. And also, apparently Lieutenant Joker did a series where he fiddled with the code and altered time, slowing it down. That would be something I'd be interested in doing. Then we can work on ticks still, but have it... Because a tick is a 20th of a second, I think. That's what it is in Minecraft. It should be 20 ticks per second. I assume that's a universal unit of measurement, a tick. So there should be 20 ticks per second. So when I have these trains stop for 250 ticks, I'm basically asking them to stop for about 12 seconds. Which is about the right time that a train stops at a an intermediate station, really. Doesn't feel like a long time, but when you're actually sat there and you count from 0 to 12 now, and you realise that it's about that time. Anyway, when I still had times in days rather than ticks, Wayne pointed out that at one point we had a train that took 43 days to pass through a tunnel. So he said, 43 days travelling through a tunnel. Never again will I travel with this company. Even a bus replacement service would be faster. And that's exactly... Well, I mean, it's true. For a start, a bus replacement probably would be faster. But that really does highlight the point that I've made in the past as well about the timing on this game. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it's good enough. 43 days through a tunnel. It's not exactly realistic, is it? Not exactly realistic. He also commented on episode 24 when I built the big freight terminal and said, so big you can see it from space, I assume. Once again, yes. If you could see a freight terminal from space, that would be incredibly big. Right, other name suggestions. Let's go back to other name suggestions, because again, I talk to Reedy Reed a lot through Twitter. We share ideas about the map, etc. And he sent me an entire list of name ideas. So let's go through a couple of them. The ones that we've already used, I'm not going to read out again. But Lafayette Circus, which is a good one. I think that's from my Skyline series. Lafayette was a name of one of the regions in my excuse me. It was the name of one of the districts in my Skyline series, so that might be influenced by that. Hudson Green, I like that one. Anderson, again, that feels like it needs... Oh, hang on, I think he made a typo, because Anderson Place is the next one. So maybe like Anderson Square, Anderson Place, something like that. Elliott Gardens, Baines Park, Diamond Hill, Rubringer Square, or Rubringer Square, Heather Park, and Dean Avenue. They're all really good suggestions. One of the ideas that I suggested to Zest Husky, because he said he was struggling to name things as well. One of the things I suggested to him was I get inspired by London, but I don't directly take names from London. So the original St. George was inspired by St. Pancras, where I just changed it to St. George. And the same with St. Peter and St. John, they all then branched off of that. I suggested to Zest that he uses Manchester as his influence, because that's where he is right now. I assume he's still there. He hasn't uploaded for a long time, actually, so it's a bit worrying. I hope he is going to upload again soon. But that's where I get my inspiration from, and that's kind of why I open it up to you guys as well, because there's only so many towns and cities around me. Whereas if you're in a different part of the country and there's loads of really cool named areas around you, I won't know about them. So that's where I open it up to you guys, so you can suggest those ideas. And that's exactly what you do, and it's fantastic. We get loads of really cool suggestions, loads of cool ideas, and we end up with really good named areas. Even towns. If you see a town name that you're not too fond of, and you want it to be named something else, feel free to suggest it. I can't guarantee that it will happen, but what I can guarantee is the comment will be read and will be acknowledged. Whether I reply to it directly or reply to it in a video, again, I can't tell you right now. But yeah, it'd be really cool just to get those suggestions going. I will start signing off soon. I might do a little bit of commentary again towards the end of the video, but my voice is really getting sore right now. I know not everybody is a fan of time lapses, and originally I was going to talk for the full duration. That was the plan, up until about 2 days ago. And the reason, I mean, 2 days ago is when actually 3 days ago is when I started feeling rough. 2 days ago is when my voice started to go. So up until then I was going to talk for the full however long the video was going to be. At the moment I'm struggling to reach half an hour. So yeah, I'm really struggling here. I don't want to do an hour and a half time lapse, but I might have to at this rate. I might put some text on the screen or whatever. It's 12:40 p.m. at the moment, so I've got sort of 6 hours to get this edited and rendered. I imagine it will take about an hour to upload because of how big the file is. But I'll do my best. I'll try and carry on talking. One thing I am going to do, if you don't like eating sounds on videos, then I do apologise, but I'm going to have a throat lozenge to try and ease my sore throat. That'll help me talk for a little bit longer. Again, while we're going back to future plans, we've just branched off from, is it Flowborough? I think the name of the station was. It was a little while ago now, but we branched off into this 2-track main line. There are other lines that will be coming out of that station. There are 2 other 2-track main lines coming out of that station. One might be demoted to just a branch line, but there will be at least one other main line coming out of that station. So that is something else to look forward to in the future. Plus, this main line will be extended further south as well. Which is why I said about Hadborough Bay being a separate franchise, because this line is pretty much going to go all the way down to the south coast of the map now. It's going to go a long, long way. Originally, I was worried about bringing high speed into this map, because when I reached the eastern limit at Pronworth and Farborn, I started to wonder if high speed would actually be justifiable. But having travelled this far, I think we just about reached the 2.5 hour point of recording when we actually got to... Hang on one second, I'm just going to do a big cough. I'm going to take my headset off for this. Right, sorry about that. I think you can still hear that, so I do apologise. It was about 2.5 hours when we got to this point of the recording, so a round trip between GSMI and Playthingfield on the all-stopping service, I think takes 2 hours real time. The express service, I think, is about 20 minutes in one direction. I think it's about that. I need to start doing timings, because actually that would help me space trains out a lot more if I knew how long these journeys took. As you can see here, we're currently stuck behind a stopping service, which is a bit of a pain in the backside. So one of the things I do want to do in the future is go back to the timetables and have it so that trains might have to wait longer in stations, but in doing so they're then not held up by the train in front. So it's almost giving it an opportunity to pull away the slower trains, or having it so that the slower train waits a little bit longer so that the fast train can overtake. Something like that. That's part of the plan as well. I really want to heavily tweak the timetable. I wish there was a way that you could sort of just press a button and it would compare 2 timetables and say, well, if this train is running late, this train waits a little bit longer to let that train go through still. Or if it's running early, let the slow train go in front of it, or whatever. Just so that one timetable can be affected by another without it just being one train ends up running late because it's stuck behind a slower train in front. That's not really the effect I'm looking for. But as I say, I will go ahead one day off camera with a stopwatch and actually time how long these journeys take, so that I can fully set up a proper timetabled system and make it as efficient as possible. I think that would be really cool. Because at the moment, the game, I've got it paused in another window right now, but we're in a situation where there's, I think it's about 20 trains are queuing through Guard City Exchange because one train is blocking the line, which is a massive pain in the backside. I don't really want that. So anything to avoid that kind of scenario, I will gladly take with both hands. But as I say, I'll do that off camera. I don't think you guys particularly want to see that. It won't be the most entertaining thing in the world. It will literally just be me sat here with a stopwatch going 3, 2, 1, go. And then when it arrives, stop. And then count the time and do some, hopefully, simple maths. But you know, you guys want me to talk about future plans, and that is one of them. Airports. That's another one that I've had requests for. Originally, because episode 100 was fast approaching, I was very reluctant to start diving into new projects like that. Now episode 100 is out of the way, as I say, next week will be Freight Network. But I might also branch off from Freight for 1 or 2 episodes and actually start building airports, because again, I feel like the map is advanced enough now that airports are justifiable. I don't want to be sticking major airports in towns with only 200 people. I mean, that really doesn't feel worth it to me. So it'll be all about proper airports in proper big towns / cities, trying to make the most of what's available there. Sort of A380s carrying, is it 600 passengers or whatever it is on this game, shuttling backwards and forwards. Fast planes as well, of course, like the FFP Dart, the Yates-Huygen, which is the Concorde. Although I like the name Yates-Huygen, I think that's a really cool name. But the BA Concorde, definitely. BAE Concorde, sorry. Just loads of aircraft like that, recognisable aircraft. And we'll do the little short domestic type flights as well, the little hoppers. Just all that kind of thing. Again, I don't want to get too detailed in it right now, because there's no guarantee that what I say now will actually end up happening. I've got a firmer idea of freight and future passenger lines than I do aircraft. Bus lines is another one though that I do know a little bit more about. Again, I've done some looking between stations in same towns. So Great Bromfingburg is a good example. We have the bus line that connects the 2 stations there now, plus the branch line. Other places like Fennington has 3 stations in. Fennington does, all main stations. So definitely a bus line to connect all of those up, or maybe even a tram line, because it is quite a big city now. Just to connect all of those ones up. And just, yeah, things like that. Buses, trams, lorries as well, because we've got the mail service going into GSMI. Actually, you'll notice something when we go through GSG. I've built a whole new set of platforms to the west of the station for all stopping services, and then semi-fast services can use the platforms that have been vacated. Just because I was sick and tired of seeing 6 trains queuing up to go into 2 platforms in GSG. It actually felt like we didn't have enough platforms. So I think it goes up to platform 25 now. Maybe 27. I can't remember off the top of my head. But there's a lot of platforms there now. And I'm planning on adding at least 1 goods platform, again, to the west of that. To try and introduce a new mail service between GSG and Rindingstone Junction, to connect up with the line from Playfingburg, I nearly called it. No, Playfingfield. So we end up with almost a fully integrated mail system. But to go along with that, I would like a lorry system transporting mail around Guard City as well. So I'll be working on that next week too. I'll probably do that first, actually, just because that fits in nicely with what we were doing at the start of this week. I am starting to run out of things to say, to be perfectly honest. How long have I been talking for now? Only 38 minutes. 39 minutes. Oh my god. I was hoping we'd be reaching the hour soon. But genuinely, guys, I am running out of things to say. So I might have to start wrapping up the talking, rest my voice ready for Monday, and actually let the music take over. If you don't want to watch the full time lapse, that's perfectly fine. I understand that. If you do want to watch it though, just to see how the network actually looks, every single main line is now connected to all the other main lines, and also connected to the metro, and also connected to the regional lines, and all the branch lines as well, of course. So realistically speaking, it's very realistic. Everything's connected to everything. which is exactly what happens in the national network as well. Every single main line in England is connected to every single other main line in England, even the underground, apart from the Waterloo and City line. I think that's the only one. Maybe the Victoria line as well. I think they're the only two that don't have a connection to the rest of the national network. I could be wrong, but who knows? I mean, even heritage lines are getting in on the act now. There's loads of heritage lines that have now got mainline connections. It's just easy, I suppose, to transport locomotives. Excuse me. Easy to transport locomotives in and out of the railway by rail. It's a lot easier to do that than by road. Even if you have to wait for another locomotive to turn up and actually haul it, drag it, tow it. Tow it's probably the better word. So I am running out of things to say. I'm racking my brains right now trying to think of more things to say. I suppose I could talk a little bit more about what I want the freight trains to be. I want the freight trains to be 8 or 9 tiles long. Proper heavy haulers. They're going to be the longest trains. There might be shorter ones as well. I might even set it up. This will be a massive waste of space and money, but again, for realism's sake, I might set up like marshalling yards outside of things like coal mines, and just have short shunter trains going backwards and forwards, making it look like they're shunting coal wagons around. That probably wouldn't be a smart thing to do, but I might look into it just for realism's sake. I mean, you can see just by watching this video, the company is earning money. You know, Jeffries Logistics is earning money. Sometimes we do lose money. Some years we do lose money when it's time for all the vehicles to renew. But the majority of the time, we are earning money. So, it wouldn't be the stupidest thing to do. Certainly wouldn't be the stupidest thing to do. Something else I was considering doing, not across the entire network for one train, but having sort of one train per main route, is railhead treatment. For those of you who don't know what they are, there are a series of trains that go around Britain. I think it's normally 2 Class 20s, top and tailing, and I think it's like 3 tanker wagons and then a railhead treatment wagon. And they go around and I think they creosote the railheads just to improve. Actually, that wouldn't make sense. They do something to the railhead. They treat the railhead just to make it last longer. Creosote springs to mind, but I don't know why you'd want to. It's certainly not a lubricant, because that wouldn't do well with braking. I'm sure it's not a lubricant. That'd be a really stupid thing to do. But there are railhead treatment trains. There are also the Network Rail Test Train, which some people call it the Flying Banana, but from what I've seen, that's more of a derogatory term. So it's a bright yellow HST. I think there's 3 of them in the country. There might only be 2. There might only be 1, but I think 3 is how many there are. And they go around the country taking measurements of the track, making sure everything is still where it should be, and the corner has enough banking, and you know, the track hasn't fallen out of alignment. So I was thinking of maybe bringing those in as well. As I say, I'm not 100% sure yet. But little things like that, just for the realism's sake, it'll be really cool. They won't earn me any money, but it would look cool. So apart from that, as I say, there's not really much else to say. I am really struggling to think of other things to say. We'll be coming up to 45 minutes. Would you guys mind an hour and a quarter of music? To be honest, I mean, I wanted to talk, as I say, for the full time, but I am really, really struggling. You can probably hear it in my voice as well. It's starting to go. So, as much as I want to carry on talking, I really, really shouldn't. So I am going to stop talking here, and I am going to let the music take over, which should start about now, or maybe even now. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to let the music take over, guys. I'm going to do a little speech now just to say thank you very, very much for everyone who has watched the previous 99 episodes and who is watching this one. As I said in the last episode, I never imagined we'd get to the full 100. This was my last attempt at doing a OpenTTD series. I'd done 2 in the past and no one was really interested. This was attempt number 3, and if it hadn't have worked out this time I would have just quit OpenTTD. Played it for fun, but make videos on other series. But you guys have made it all worthwhile. I never imagined the contributions that we'd get. I would say that although Cities in Motion 2 is still getting more views, this series has emulated that series in terms of viewer contribution. And so you guys have been fantastic. You've been filling me with ideas. You've been talking amongst yourselves as well about ideas, and even just learning how railways work in different countries is really, really interesting for me. You guys might think you're being boring when you talk about it, but believe me, you are not. I find it very, very interesting. And even when I'm not reading your comments about it, I spend hours and hours and hours researching online so that I know what I'm talking about when it comes into videos, even though I forget it all by the time I click record. Before I click record, I do know exactly what I'm talking about. Honest. So once again, guys, thank you very, very much for watching this episode and all of the previous episodes. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you're enjoying the series. Drop some comments down below for ideas for future episodes. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, be sure to click the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to my channel, thank you guys for your continued support. And until next time, enjoy the music, guys, and I will see you soon.